So let's talk a little about the fit, feel, and finish on this 2019 Indian Scout. Come over here and take a look. So let's start with fit. I'm 6 feet tall, about 190 pounds. And I fit on the bike very well. And my arms are a good reach with my back bent. Foot pegs are right where I need them to be. No problem there. Kickstand is really easy to work. I could do with a couple of inches of pullback on the bars and a little bit of rise if I could get that. And the Indian does offer a full range of ergonomic kits for this bike. So there would be options available. One place that the fit does fail me is in the mirrors. The mirrors, especially when I'm wearing a full face helmet with a chin bar, the mirrors are just too low to get any use out of. I ride like this and I have to get down in there to see anything in the mirrors. And they are, you can tell, pretty small, stylish, edgy mirrors. So I don't get a whole lot of use out of the rearview mirrors.
Hi, Carrie here. I just wanted to offer some counterpoint. I'm a good 4 inches shorter than Eric, so I'm 5'6", and the mirrors on this bike may be the best motorcycle rear view mirrors I've ever used. They're perfectly positioned for my height, and the sideways teardrop style offers half again the viewing width of a standard circular mirror. Also, during the Advanced Scout video, I stated that I may be unhappy with the outer lines of the seat pressing in on my inner thighs. I'm proud to report that after a long day of riding the Scout, I didn't experience any discomfort at all with the seat. In fact, with the extra distance from the seat to the pegs, I was easily able to adjust my riding position as needed to accommodate my stretch and comfort needs at freeway speeds.
I don't get any use out of the backrest. When I'm riding, it doesn't matter whether I'm relaxed on the freeway or whether I'm canyon carving or anything, the backrest is way too far back for me to ever get any use out of it. Especially, I mean, you can see how straight my arms have to be before my back comes into contact with that backrest at all. So I don't get any use out of that. One issue that I do have with fit is with this seat. This lumbar support would need to be a little steeper for me because my butt cheeks ride right here on the edge of it instead of nice and on the seat. Now for shorter riders, Carrie, as you know, is 5'6.5", and she fits okay on the bike too. She has no complaints about the fit. Our wonderful boss from Utah Rider Ed, Sarah, has been interested in the Scout for a long time. She's sat on a few in the showroom floor. She says she's 5'2" if she's been keeping up on her yoga. And she reports that everything about the bike fits her except for the distance to the foot pegs. She can't quite reach the controls of her feet. And then we did invite a friend of ours who is 5'4" to sit on the bike, and he had no trouble fitting on the bike okay and getting his feet up on the pegs, reaching the controls. So somewhere between 5'4" and 5'2", you have to start looking into some ergonomic options. And with my height at 6 feet, again, I could do with a little bit of pullback. So your sweet spot is like between 5'5" and 5'10" is going to be your sweet spot for this bike as it comes from the factory. Now for the feel of the bike, as we have said in the past, it is a very lightweight bike for a cruiser. Throw a leg over it, comes right up off that kickstand real easy. Roll it back and forth, it takes no effort at all. Feels like a very competent, balanced, lightweight bike under you. There's that kickstand up and down. Just real nice as far as all that goes, and that's just using my legs and feet. Handlebars turn real nice, kind of on an incline here, and there's a little bit of gravel on the street, but handlebars turn back and forth real nice. It's a very easy bike to manage. For as lightweight and manageable as it is, it does have a lot of power. When you're out there on the road, there's no trouble passing on the freeway. It's always happy to pull you out of corners. Plenty and plenty of power on tap all the way through the gear range. Something we really wanted to say on fit, feel, and finish for this bike, and we might catch some guff from some people for saying this, but for as lightweight and manageable as this bike is, and for the size, and for how well behaved the power is, we actually believe it would make a pretty good beginner bike for a responsible person who isn't going to get into that throttle because the engine's so much fun. It's not terribly heavy, it's not way too fast, super manageable, very well behaved, make a great bike for a beginning rider. And it would be a good bike all the way through your riding career. You'd never tire of it. Now the seat has got enough contour on it that when I'm riding aggressively, carving through canyons or accelerating off the line, the seat maintains my riding posture very well. There's no slide or give to it. I don't slip off the sides or slip to the back or anything like that. It stays very squared and centered on the seat. Come down here and take a look at my feet. One thing I wanted to mention was the length of these foot pegs. Get your foot on there real good, and you can reach your controls. Get your foot eased over. Lots of room on the foot peg to keep your feet clear of the controls. Even hook it out to here for the freeway. Lots of control there. One thing I have noticed is if I'm staying tucked in too much, sometimes the side of my shoe will catch that brake fluid reservoir there, so I got to watch that. But these shoes have got a huge shoulder on the soles. Come around and take a look at the other side. Same story over here. There's lots of room on the peg. As long as this peg is, there's lots of room there to get your foot over to the controls and off the controls. Get your toe under there. Just all kinds of room. No pillion on this bike, so we can't talk about comfort for a passenger. Let's look at finish. This bike has got so many little cues on it, so many little wonderful things about the scheme. Also, I want to mention, and it's not the same for all the Scouts, but with this particular paint scheme, this Indian red color, it's exactly Indian red. So if you have a bunch of other Indian accessories, if you've got their jackets, the liners are going to match your tank, is going to match your speedometer. If you go back and look at Mike and Andrew's previous review of the t-shirts from Indian, those colors match. But this vanity panel here covers these cables that come around in the front. This also has the two-tone paint scheme. You got the black and the red on the fenders, then of course the Indian gold. Nice chrome ring on the speedometer. Now for a retro bike like this, one of the things that we really like is all these clean lines up here in the cockpit. Very simple switchgear as you come through. Nice chrome mirror stocks. Very simple understated speedometer. You don't have a bunch of stuff going on up here. Just very clean lines all the way through the switchgear and in the cockpit. Now even though it's a retro bike, we live in the modern era. And one of the things I wanted to point out with this bike is this handy, beautifully concealed USB charging port. Little USB charging port right there. So if you've got a handlebar mounted cell phone, you can charge it right there through that port. Very unobstructive. You close it and you almost wouldn't even know it was there. And then one of the last things that I really like about the finish on this bike is just this hulky big frame. Look at this thing. Just this big, bulky. It's got this nice matte finish on it. This nice orange peel finish on it. Just a real hefty, hulky frame down there. A note on the right-hand saddlebag. It sits right over the exhaust. So here on the back panel of the saddlebag, you do collect a lot of exhaust soot back here. I just cleaned it, so it's not so bad right now. You can sort of see a little bit of it down here. This does pick up a soot patina after a while, so you got to keep up on that, keep it clean if you don't want it to stain. Also, because of the proximity to the exhaust, you do have to be careful doing the snaps back up. If you were pulling a lunch bag out of here or something and you weren't paying attention, you go to grab this strap, bump your knuckles against the pipes, and these get super hot. So all in all, we're pretty impressed with the fit, feel, and finish on this 2019 Indian Scout. My only complaints on fit is I could do with a little bit of pullback, a little bit of bar rise, and the seat isn't quite as comfortable as it could be for me. I feel like that's because of the retro styling, maybe sacrificed a little bit of function for form. I am having a ton of fun riding this bike. I look forward to it every time I see it there in the garage, throw my jacket on, grab my gloves. I'm always excited to get back on this thing. Now, if you're an adrenaline junkie and you're into horsepower and torque numbers, make sure to show up for our next episode. We're going to take this out to the shop on Monday, get it dynoed. We'll have all kinds of footage and numbers from that. Thanks so much for watching. You have a good day.